Good morning, this is Dr. Turner for Integrated Math 3. Today we're going to be covering the second half of 3.3, which is dividing polynomials. In the first half, we talked about different techniques, including factoring. Today what we're going to be looking at is a little more complex. We're going to be looking at doing both long division and synthetic division. So we'll start with long division. Say I have a problem, x squared plus 10x plus 21. And I'm asking you to divide this by x plus 7, for instance. So what we do, just like normal long division, we're going to write on the inside, we're going to write on the outside. And so there are 3 steps here when we're doing long division. We are going to divide, we're going to multiply, and then we're going to subtract. So what you'll do is you'll take this x squared and you're going to divide it by x. Using our rules of exponents, that tells me that that would be x. So that's the first step. Then we're going to take this x and we're going to multiply it back here. So x times x gives me x squared, and I'll write it below. X times 7 gives me 7x, I'll write it below. And we're going to subtract that from the top. So x squared minus x squared cancels out. 10x minus 7x gives me 3x. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to repeat. So I do 3x here, and I'm going to divide that by x. 3x divided by x gives me 3. So I write it on top. Then I'll take the 3 now and multiply it back. So 3 times x gives me 3x. 3 times 7 gives me 21. I'm going to subtract this from what I have left, which is 3x plus 21. And that gives me 0. Because I got a 0 there, that means it's done correctly. And so x squared plus 10x plus 21 divided by x plus 7 gives me x plus 3. Let's go ahead and look at another example. Okay, let's do another example. 6x squared plus 10x minus 24. And we're going to divide that by 2x plus 6. So the first term is going to go inside. Second term is going to go outside. And then just like before, we are going to divide, multiply, subtract. So 6x squared divided by 2x gives me 3x. Now I take that 3x, I'm going to multiply it back to the front here. So 3x times 2x, 3x times 6. Subtract straight down. 6x squared and 6x squared will cancel out. 10x minus 18x gives me negative 8x. Bring the negative 24 down. Now, negative 8x divided by 2x gives me minus 4. Take the negative 4, you're going to multiply it in the front, so negative 4 times 2x, negative 4 times 6. We are subtracting here, so be careful with signs. Those will cancel out, leaving me with 0. So 6x squared plus 10x minus 24 divided by 2x plus 6 gives me my answer of 3x minus 4. Now, the examples that we do in class, I'm always going to give you examples where we get a remainder of 0, right? So it should divide evenly. You can still use this technique on polynomials that don't. So for instance, let's say x squared minus 6x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. So if I do this here, same steps, x squared minus 6 plus 1 is going to go in the inside. X plus 1 is going to go on the outside. So x squared divided by x gives me x. Multiply it back. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. And then we are subtracting. So the x squareds will cancel. Negative 6x minus x gives me negative 7x. Again, divide. Negative 7x divided by x gives me negative 7. Multiply it back. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. So then when I go to subtract these, the x's cancel, but 1 minus negative 7 gives me 8. So in these cases where we have a remainder, what we're going to do is we'll write what we got on top, x minus 7, and then we'll also write the remainder. The remainder is 8, but I couldn't divide it evenly into x plus 1, so I'll write plus 8 over x plus 1. So you have what you got on the top, and then your remainder is going over what you were dividing into. Like I said, in class, we're going to be looking at examples where we get a remainder of 0, so it's going to look like what we have here on the left. So that's long division. Now we're going to look at what's known as, now we're going to look at what's known as synthetic division. Clear here. So synthetic division, let's say I have a problem x squared plus 2x minus 24. And I want to divide this by x plus 6. To do synthetic division, you're going to take the polynomial that you're dividing here, and you're going to write the coefficients. So here, remember, there's always an invisible 1. So I write 1, 2, and negative 24. On the outside, I'm going to write the opposite sign that I have here. So for x plus 6, I'm writing negative 6. Then we're going to bring this 1 down. What we do is we multiply 1 times negative 6 to get negative 6. We add the 2 and the negative 6 to get a negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 6 gives me positive 24. And then negative 24 plus positive 24 gives me 0. Goal is to get a 0 here. That means there's no remainder. So, well, what does these numbers at the bottom mean? The 1 and the negative 4? These are the coefficients of my answer. So 1 would be an x term, and then I have minus 4 for my linear term. So x squared plus 2x minus 24 divided by x plus 6 gives me x minus 4. Now this looks a little more complicated. Polynomial, when we're doing synthetic division, it's usually more common when we have a higher degree polynomial. So for instance, if I had something like x cubed plus 2x squared minus 19x minus 20, and I asked you to divide it by x minus 4, for instance. Okay, you may not be able to factor that. And so this is one of the techniques that you could use is synthetic division. So again, we'll write the coefficients inside 1, 2, negative 19, negative 20. We're going to write the opposite sign of what we have here. So put a positive 4. Bring down the 1. 4 times 1 is 4. And we add 4 plus 2 to get 6. 6 times 4 gives me 24. 24 plus negative 19 gives me 5. 5 times 4 gives me 20. And negative 20 plus 20 gives me a remainder of 0, which is what I wanted. Here I have 3 integers, so that means my result is quadratic. So I'm left with x squared plus 6x plus 5. Because we're doing this online, again, I'm really just trying to have you guys stick to the basics. You should be familiar with this. And if we have more time at the end of the year, we're going to swing back to this and go over it again. But for your assignment for 3.3, these are just all different techniques that we've talked about. It's up to you how you would like to divide. That's all for today, guys. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.